You thought you were done with the diorama, with the terrain bit, but you're not. I'm back with more terrain. Actually, it's the same terrain that we had previously, but I'm adding an additional dimension of things. What I'm adding, or what I got a mystery box from Italy, from a company called Dioramapresepe. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it was loaded, loaded with diorama stuff. Trees, shrubberies, leaves, tufts, vines, ivy, more shrubs, things that look like jungle stuff, and all sorts of things from different periods of it, during the fall, like yellows and oranges, to dark greens, to sort of dead vines. All really cool stuff. And there's a mystery box, so I had no idea what I was getting. There are several companies out there that do diorama stuff, and I was taking a look, just looking around to see what I thought was the best, and what my choices were. I think there was Woodland Scenics, and a couple of other companies that I just can't remember the names off the top of my head. But most of them didn't have a good selection of different choices, or actually the other end of it was there was too many choices, and I didn't know what I wanted. Since I've never bought anything for diorama purposes, I just wasn't sure. And the neat thing about the Dioramapresepe thing was that they have they have different sizes of mystery boxes, and the person just puts it together and you just get whatever you get sent. And obviously with so much of this stuff, and I got the large one, I have so many choices, so many cool things to play with and try to experiment to make something interesting. I'm just going to show you guys a few of the things that I got in this mystery box, alright? Just so you can have a sense of what you can get. This here, some really cool, looks like dead ivy, or the vines of ivy that is climbed up, so great for derelict buildings or, old age, anything dying. These are vines that have leaves on them still, which is nice, just a nice touch to give it a little bit of additional life, which I have placed around here and up here, just to give a sense of it. I don't even know what these things are. I guess more tall, plants that have just got little leaves poking out of them. I think it'd just be a nice way to add additional flourish to maybe some trees, or to large foliage and stuff like that. We have some fall brushes kind of thing, some dark orangey browns, some kind of dark green browns. We've got even more these kind of hedges with flowery orange flowers. Stack loads of tufts, which sure you always need, in different shapes and different sizes. Lengthwise, which sure, gonna find out, and different shapes of small to large. Should be cool, from different kinds of periods, like spring and summer and fall. There's so much of it though. Purple shrubs, beats me what I'll do with that. More dark green tree-like things. Purple vines, which we got already on the on this terrain kit over here. Even more stuff, which I don't even really know what half of these things are. This is a professional Lenny bush. It's not really, it says professional, but it says Lenny bush. But it's just more foliage, just more things that you can do where you can mix and match, put them together, and create your own scenic thing. Whatever you can imagine. And there's so much more that these guys make as well. You don't want to spend more and more money just for the sake of it. But there's tons of stuff to go down and experiment with, put together, and try and create something that's really cool. And bit by bit, I'm just going to cover myself up with all this terrain goodness. There's just flock everywhere. At this point in time, who knows what all of it's for. More different colors, different shapes on the leaves. I don't even know how they make this stuff. How do they do all of it? This, more trees. Just slowly, look at that, I can build a diorama. This is a disaster. What's about to be. Whew. And lastly, more additional shrubbery-like type things that are tall. Oh, and I'm still missing big old purple tree-like stuff. And all of this stuff for, you know, roughly like $125. It's just an epic amount of things to put together. And so I got these things and I've just been playing around with it right now, trying to make something that looks and feels more lifelike, more real. And it's really cool stuff. I mean, I love the vines. I love how things like you know, you can wrap things around and connect it and make it look like a derelict building. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Now I still have to figure out how to glue it and make sure it looks all proper and test how resilient certain things are, because obviously stuff like these tree-like seaweed things are probably pretty fragile, and I have to be quite careful with them. So I'm not sure where I'm going to use these. But for other stuff, if I'm able to glue it and like connect it to the buildings, I think it could be really, really cool. So what I started with was this cool dead like vine-like thing that's growing up the side of this building, and I really like it. I kind of intermingled it with the gate itself, so it kind of keeps it in position, and then I've just twined it around that way. I also did a few little like a little bush over here. Oops, well, I knocked it over. I haven't glued anything, as I might have already said. Stuff here. Some more ivy-like things with leaves that kind of look like they're dying, because obviously with this Warcry terrain set, things should look like they're dying. But I also added a little extra color. I've got this nice ivy here that's got some like purple flowers, which is really pretty. As well as I did things for the bell tower and added like these dark red stuff. This is really cool. And you can string it out. And then I think with some pigment fixer, or some, I don't know about PVA glue. I'm not actually 100% what kind of glue I need to make sure that this stuff stays down, but I don't really want it to be like glossy glue hiding underneath it that you can see. And I think pigment fixer might be the best job, but I have to do a little test try or search the internet to see what the best options are for this. Even though this is a cool looking tree, I wouldn't, obviously for this terrain piece, I wouldn't build it or I wouldn't connect it directly to this. But what you could do is you could get like a board underneath it, put like rocks and rubble and like a compound mixture, and then start putting them into the ground so you can have yourself a forest. And it comes with a huge, huge box of this stuff. I'll show you. Woo. So I got enough kind of like weird forest materials that I could make. And if I wanted to, I could even spray it a color to change the temperatures with like an airbrush, which might be a neat way to give it like a different tone from each other. But yeah, I think, but of course, these are quite delicate. I even broke one just as I was fiddling with it. But it looks really nice. It looks really real. I mean, it smells a bit like seaweed. I think it is. So yeah, I think this is a neat thing or a neat way of going about it. I don't know like if anyone ever takes like their terrain level up like a real notch higher in terms of when they do their wargaming, but I feel like this is a great way of getting like an approximation or feeling like that there's like real sense of derelictness or age to it by having like all the vines growing through it, and just adding nature to it. It just seems really, really nice. So I guess this is the beginning of my journey when it comes to creating dioramas or creating more lifelike terrain that's out there. And hopefully I'm going to do it with this Warcry set, test how that goes, and then I'm going to start trying to do it to the Kill Team sets and see if that makes any sense whatsoever. I think it will, but I just don't know. I guess the question is, what do you guys think of this stuff? Have you guys any of you guys actually done like diorama things and added it to your terrain to try and make it more lifelike? Or do you just do it for your scenic bases? I guess this kind of a question is more like, do you guys have tips or tricks that you know of in regards to making tough, not tough terrain, but terrain that's usable, that's war gameable, and you don't have to be super careful, even though you should be careful, because if you painted it and spent a good time around it, you don't want to chip it, but things along that line. And curiously, like from what I can tell, just by putting this little bit together and spending 30 minutes at it, it seems really cool. I'm really excited to put this down and glue it all in place and get a game of Warcry with this like this. Just think it'd be great. So yeah, that's my haul for diorama stuff that I've just got from all the way from Italy. And I've got a lot to work with, and perhaps a bit too much, but I'm going to give it a shot, definitely. So yeah, thank you for watching, and till next time.